Alright guys, we're back for another boiler retrofit, and this one's just as messy as some of the previous ones. We got pipes everywhere. We got a super hot boiler with an indirect hot water tank down below. It's all coming out. The reason why, we've had a failure with the heat exchanger. Water was dripping down and it's done. She has been shut down, decommissioned. We've drained all of our hoses and water down here into the floor drain. But it's a complicated system because we got a primary, secondary system, but we have a high temperature and low temperature. We got two zones up here that are high, three zones down here that are low in floor heat going into poly B. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna cut, we're gonna hack, we're gonna take everything out, take all these controls off. We're gonna probably take the plywood off, redo it with some new, take the drywall off and redo it with new plywood around here. Pull our venting and our exhaust, go straight out there. Possibly put the boiler here and do our zones and controls. We'll see. There's even a thought process of having our boiler in the center and then putting our low and high temperatures on the side. It's going to be a combi boiler system. We are going to have our domestic lines over here, but to add more complication, we got our domestic cold coming up in here, and we're going to have to deal with reconfiguring everything. So let's have some fun, shall we? And we're back, guys. After several months, we have finally finished this project. Not because it was very complicated, it's just unfortunately so many of our clients needed our help in so many aspects. We were just swamped, and luckily the homeowners were very patient with this. We provided them a source of domestic hot water, which was right there. We removed that hot water tank, and now we're running on the actual on-demand combi unit itself. And as far as heat, they had an alternative source of heat, gas fireplace, so they were actually not too bad. So very grateful for that. Gave us a chance to work on some other emergencies, but now we are finally finished this project here. And it's total change from obviously what was here before. A super hot boiler with the domestic hot water reserve tank down below and just a mess of pipes. So usually with most systems, I try to create a functional environment where you can actually get into this room here and look and service everything without stumbling over stuff. But also I try to add a bit of art, a bit of beauty with it, and that's evident more so on this wall. We had 5 zones, technically only 3 zones, but because of the pipes and 2 zones both had 2 individual pipes, I figured why not, let's just add a zone valve each for it. Wasn't a necessity, but I figured it just worked better for the system. So our family room is just on one. Then we label these 2 the kitchen zones have 2 individual lines for it, and then same for the living room as well. So all 3 of those zones are on a mixing valve, low temperature heat right here, so we can dial in our temperature. We just fired it up, and that's why I like having these thermometers. We can see where our temperature is, and that's exactly where we want to have it. And also more over here, high temp. This right here branches off for our high temperature, which we have 2 zones, 2 baseboard heaters, one for the master bedroom upstairs and one for the second bedroom hallway area. So I loved using these Taco Zone Sentries. Love them. They're just awesome, super great to deal with. These ones are obviously the sweat ones, which we've installed there, but lots of room for servicing, lots of room if you have to take them off. Isolation valves for everything, drain ports to flush the system out. And we had quite a dirty system here. We had so much magnetite in this. 20 minutes after commissioning the system was just full of magnetite, more than I've ever seen before. And probably because of all the in-floor heat, a lot of that stuff just built up down there and never, ever got cleaned out or flushed. There was no way to flush it in the some 40 plus years that system has been in operation. But putting a fire tube boiler is that extra resiliency, plus that magnetite magnetic filter helps clean the system before it gets into the heat exchanger. Just a must, these magnetic filters. And I still see people out there installing without them, and they are so important to keeping that system clean. Put our expansion tank here, as well as our cold water feed here. No backflow device. We just put in a Cliffy 9D device just for space, and realistically, sometimes a lot of homeowners don't get them tested to begin with. Isolation valve here. We can dial in our pressure. I love these Honeywell 911s. Obviously high point here. We have air. Our expansion tank comes in, goes on the return side of our low loss header, goes up into the boiler, and then of course our supply goes into the low loss header and circles around and circles around. And then of course coming out of it, very tight for space. I usually would probably have put a few more ball valves, but didn't need to. We have our high temp coming off first, then our low temp return coming back, and then our high temp after that going in here, so we don't have any mixture of high and low temperature messing up with that mixing valve. Two of our main circulation pumps here. We have one obviously for the low temperature, which has its own switching relay, and then the other switching relay here is for this one. And this way we can have the system on and deliver, especially on those cold days, the appropriate temperature for low temperature and high temperature at the same time, rather than having the boiler, emit a certain temperature range, and then shutting off and going to the other one. We can do that by just installing a mixing valve. Stagger these just because it's easier to work on them and get at them sometimes when you have them at the same elevation, and also kind of goes with the same artistic flow of doing a lot of 45-degree angles here. So all in all, very happy with it. I think it turned out great. Once again, keynotes here, venting straight out, easy, done, no issues there. Obviously, we put our literature here so it's easy to get access to. You know where it is. It doesn't go disappearing. We put in acid neutralizing condensate pump for this situation. There's a laundry sink over here, but just for the grade, I figured it was easier just to pump it straight on into the drain itself. So one keynote too, electricians did a fabulous job cleaning up all the wires here, so it's nice and clean and brought back behind here into these switching relays, which I love these new takeout ones, because you can see they have the knockouts on the back there or the top or the sides to give you that really clean and pretty look. So yeah, shout out to the whole crew that did work on this. Very happy with the outcome, and I think the homeowners will be too. So this completes the NAVIEN NFC-175 250H install, and we'll see you on the next one.